Okay, so just a very small video about the Deutsche militärische Geschichte. So again, just focusing a little bit on the presentation of culture. Um, again, as a tool for increasing one's interest in German. So I'll start with the Germanic tribes in Europe. Again, it's way before World War One or Two, during the Holy Roman German Empire. Again, say Germany split up into a number of principalities that were all fighting amongst each other. So there was no concept of a country or a state back then. So there was just kind of like very feral, kind of like basic tribes with very little kind of like human instinct that we have developed now in this century. So again, the first major conflict was something called the 30-Jahre Krieg, 30 years war, because it lasted 30 years. Again, it was just a war about religions, Catholicism, Protestantism, Huguenots, Calvinists, and I think Islam was thrown in there for the mix. Again, just from the late Middle Ages up as far as World War One, the Germanic landscape was carved up like a jigsaw piece, and it kept redefining its borders, as did a lot of countries at the time. You'd notice that in that picture there, Ireland is still a unified country at the time. Again, not going too much into Irish history. Again, you probably would have heard of one of the dominant parts of the latter Holy Roman German Empire, apart from Bavaria, being Prussia, as being the centre of moral and scholarly excellence and theological kind of advancements, again in the late 15th, early 16th century. So again, after that then you have the Weimar Republic, and that's just the shield. So here we are into World War One. So that's the territory of Germany, as it starts to occupy Poland. Okay. So there hasn't been an Anschluss with Austria yet, but it's getting there. World War II. So the territory of Germany, it's in the dark black and it's hard to see. And then in the grey, it's claimed German territories or territories are invading. So at this stage, you see Poland as a country does not exist. So at this stage, the black is Germany's territory. The grey is Germany's control. It doesn't have a stranglehold. It doesn't have a definite absolute power there, but it's very strong, stuff like that. Notice that Switzerland remains neutral at this time. So again, this is the territory flag that Germany puts on every single flag of the host country it invades, just so it's German territory. Okay, so this is in Spanish, but it's very easy to read because the symbols, the occupation of Nazi Germany, the Russians, and the United States. So kind of like so you've where the Schatzsache is the main power. All the crosses show the level of occupation. The dark arrows show where occupation was commencing, or where it has kind of a stranglehold. Like for example, you've seen in España the way kind of like Hitler played Franco, or played the military there to use Spain as a kind of a curtain call for World War One or World War Two. Sorry. So a picture of a Luftwaffe, another one of a Panzer. Okay, so German soldiers. Okay, so one of the dire and hopefully regrettable part of the war was the concentration camps. So Arbeit macht frei, work will set you free. That was the motto that was used over the concentration camps. As of now, I know some English politician used that comment in a speech he made, and it wasn't well received naturally because of the connotations that it would have in the association, because it was a terrible period in humanity. So the next one, that's an example of a gas chamber whereby the train, so some persons wouldn't even get off the train. They would just basically go in to the gas chamber and meet their death. Know that it wasn't only Jews, it was disabled people, homosexuals, traitors, prisoners of war, but the Irish population, regrettably, um, were Jewish. Okay, so this is the Nazi swastika. Notice the way, in comparison to the Hindu symbol, it has a backward spin. Um, with Hitler, what he did was he reached back into literature and he took lots of idyllic artwork and music and poetry and prose and glorify it to kind of build up the Germanic nation and strengthen it culturally. Likewise, you also do with symbols and stuff like that. So here we see the Hindu swastika. It's an ancient symbol of wealth and fortune. It goes back from ancient swastika times, but again, once it's used for negative reasons, for terrible reasons, unfortunately, that connotation overwhelms us and eludes its inherent goodness. So again, it's just a brief militärische Geschichte der deutschen Nationen.